Sexy motherfucker. Let's go.
The Dolphins are red hot. Contingency plans are in place, and COVID. All that and more on this episode of Unscripted. Hello, listener land, and welcome to the best damn fantasy podcast for your ears. I am your host, Randal Kennedy. I am joined, as always, by my cohorts, the Godfather himself, Paul Lundegaard, and often imitated, never duplicated, the chef, Jake Bisson. You can find them both on Twitter at the BZBFF and at Paulie Sleepers. Okay, guys, you heard me in the opening there mention the contingency plan that's been put in place by the owners. Did you guys see this?
A couple extra playoff spots or something.
Yeah, the NFL owners unanimously approved a contingency plan that would expand the playoff field from 14 to 16 if meaningful games are missed due to COVID-19 and cannot be played. I thought that was a pretty big deal. Obviously, there are the NFL is starting to feel the crunch. There have been 57 new cases of COVID since November 1st in the league. Notable this week, Ben Roethlisberger has been placed on the COVID list. He could wind up like Matthew Stafford and gain clearance before Sunday, but he has to test negative every day between now and then. It's getting down to it, man. We're running out of weeks to move stuff around. So if this starts to hit hard, it's really going to put it in a crunch. The NFL's done a pretty good job so far, though.
Yeah. So just to clear up on the Steelers, it was Vance McDonald that tested positive for it. And so Ben was real close with him throughout the game. There was five.
They flew back and sat next to each other, right?
Yes. Yep. So there was 5 guys that are on COVID watch right now, but they are expecting all 5 guys to play as long as they, like you said, pass the test in the next few days. So it looks like it's going to be okay unless Ben somehow tests positive.
Yeah, guys are being held out for contract tracing, being too close, but not because they tested. Jalen Samuels was one of them too. Same situation with your 49ers last week. Kendrick Bourne didn't test positive. He just was too close to someone that did. I think they're, I'm glad they're finally doing this. I've been saying for a long time that they should, have a space at the end of the year for, extra games, something. And I heard something crazy the other day, man. I mean, you can't trust what you hear on the news, but 1 in 3 people in Wisconsin have COVID. That's what the NBC News said last night. 33% of Wisconsin. That just blows me away. I have a hard time believing that. But the second wave is coming. So
it's here.
I think the NFL has done a good job. I think you're right.
Yeah. They've made it this far.
It's going to be harder and harder.
It's interesting that you mentioned Kendrick Bourne and that the 49ers placed him back on the COVID list yesterday.
They did.
Wow. He is back on the COVID list. His status for Sunday is murky. So the 49ers woes continue. Interesting. You get
Debo back this week, though, right?
He may. Practice participation is going to be the ultimate key there, whether or not he's able to get on the field this week in practice. Raheem Mostert may also return, and they could really use both those guys.
I'm ready for some Mostert, man.
You and me too. I am dying of you.
So since we're talking about the Niners wide receivers, is Richie James a thing?
He's worth a pickup. Richard Sherman came out on social media. I don't know if you guys saw this, but after the game, everybody was all like, "Oh, Richie James, where did this come from?" And Sherman was like, "He does this in practice all the time. He's always had the talent. He just needed the opportunity to show it." So, take that for whatever you feel it's worth. I'd pick him up. I wouldn't go crazy. But in this year where you've got all these guys missing time and COVID and injuries, and he may bail you out. He certainly would have bailed you out had you played him last week. I mean, he had a huge game.
Huge. 160 yards or something?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I had a hard time, scouting if he's got the juice because he was wide open.
Yeah.
He was wide open.
It was kind of crazy that he was getting so wide open.
It was kind of nuts. But Mullins likes to push the ball down the field, and seems to be that down the field guy. I can't wait for Ayuk and Mullen to get that connection going. But do you think that James plays ahead of Bourne when they're both healthy? Has he earned that?
He could. Kendrick has never been Kendrick is almost like a goal line back. He's in the red zone. He's not going to do anything between the 20s. So in a PPR league, Richie James, go out there, get you 4 or 5 catches, and and a lot of it is going to be dependent upon are the 49ers losing, because they're going to want to run the football, and if they're winning the game, they're going to, and if they've got Raheem Mostert and they can run the football, they're going to do that.
Well, the reason why I'm quizzing you down is because you're the Niners fan, and I have a feeling that people are going to go fab crazy over this guy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't go crazy, but he's worth a pickup for sure.
184 yards. Holy shit.
Yeah. And I'm calling it right now, Niners over Saints. You heard it here first.
Ooh. I love the look on Paulie's
Niners
face.
over Saints. I think that's the same look Paulie had when Phillip Rivers tried to tackle that Ravens defender.
Oh man,
that's one of my wolves of the week.
That's a definite wolf, dude. Holy shit.
Man, that was so bad. Did you see my tweet when Cam Newton got the turf monster a couple times last night? I was like, Phillip Rivers watching the game. Yep, damn turf monster.
Imagine how Daniel Jones felt.
Right.
Daniel
Jones is like Joe Biden running down the podium to.
Yeah, you know what? You can't say that. Daniel Jones was clocked. He was balling. He was almost 22 miles an hour.
He was going fast. He was going fast.
He does have some wheels.
He's got wheels. I know he does.
The thing that made Rivers' deal worse was that he just stepped on him.
He stepped on him.
He just absolutely just right on his chest and his neck. Just 1 foot, so all the weight of your body on the – God damn, that's just embarrassing, man. I've been telling y'all the Colts ain't shit because Phillip Rivers ain't shit.
Hey, what did I say last week on this podcast? That Rivers was due for a stinker. Did I not say that?
Well, I tweeted out that when I call for the Colts to lose, I am 5-0. And about 15 minutes before the game, I was like, "Yep, bet on the Ravens." Jax has gone from power ranking them number 6 to when he did that, I was like, "Oh, dude, you're way too high on the Colts." And then number 9, and I was like, "Yep, get them the fuck out of your top 10, buddy." And then I think he's got him down to number 14, and I'm like, "I'm still not satisfied. Keep moving them down." I mean, if they expand to 2 more playoff teams, the Colts still won't make the playoffs. I'm gonna say that right now.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. They still got a pretty good defense, and you got a really good pass blocking offensive line. That's one thing I noticed the other day when I was looking at their offensive line when I was doing some Jonathan Taylor homework. They're a much better pass blocking offensive line than they are run blocking offensive line. I think they're
very much so.
They're living off their reputation a little bit when it comes to run blocking.
Very much so. Absolutely. But the weapons aren't there. The quarterback isn't there. It's not enough, man.
Yeah. Poor Rivers, he doesn't have anyone. He really doesn't have anyone to throw to. It's like Cam Newton. You brought up a great stat on Cam Newton, Paulie, before we came on the air. I'd love for you to shout it out again.
Yeah, I mean, we were trashing on, some of us were trashing on Newton, and I mentioned that he hadn't practiced in 2 weeks because of COVID, and we needed to give the guy a break. He is the number 2 ranked quarterback, according to Pro Football Focus, since he's been benched. A 90 QBR the last 2 weeks. That's number 2 in the league. He completed 18 passes.
This is it.
To undrafted free agents the other night. That's the most passes completed to undrafted free agents in the Super Bowl era in a win. Gunnar Oslewski and Demir Bird and Jacoby Myers, all those guys were undrafted free agents. And he was putting it on a dime.
Yeah, one thing I noticed of Monday night is he was pushing the ball downfield a lot more than he has at any point this season. Like, he was really moving it downfield.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too...
And he wasn't running. There was no designed runs or RPOs at all.
Yeah,
it's really interesting how they played that game. They did not want him running the ball.
Yeah,
he ran in the touchdown, but other than that,
too crazy on Cam Newton, because in his 2 best games, the Seahawks and the Jets, they have common traits. They both give it up to the slot receiver, and you saw Jacoby Myers just eating Monday night, and neither one of them can rush the passer. The Jets, they only have about a sack a game. So he wasn't facing any pressure, and he had, unless he was tackling, himself, he was sitting back there, and he had time to go downfield and make some plays in the passing game.
Myers is another guy that'll be picked up this week. I dug up some tweets from August before the season started last year. And
what a dipshit.
Sorry for those of you who are listening to us instead of watching our little stream that we have going on. Paulie is having some technical difficulties with his stream.
I'm here.
He's here.
I'm here.
So
can you change your picture?
Jacoby Myers, man, he was the guy we talked about last summer when N'Keal Harry was put on IR. He has 169 yards the other night. N'Keal Harry has 172 yards all season. Woof.
That's big woof, dude. He's got 30 targets in 3 weeks, and he right now is 3rd among all qualified wideouts this season in yards per route run, 2.91 per PFF, only behind Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
I wonder where he ranked before Monday night's game. Would be interesting to know that.
That would be interesting to know, because I can guarantee you it was not where he was at right now.
3rd, yeah.
No.
Yeah, so...
Paulie, what's up with your thing?
I don't know. I guess my video's not working, so you can't see it, can you?
Well, I can see Chalk's logo.
Yeah, I see Chalk's logo. Speaking of Chalk, just want to mention that he was 8-0 in one of our leagues this week, and I gave his ass a beating.
That a boy.
Mention that to him on Twitter.
That a boy.
Old Terminator took him behind a woodshed.
You're good now, Paulie.
There you go, Paulie. Now we can see you, but we can't hear you.
His team is really, really good in that league.
Yeah, everybody gets lucky really, once in a while.
Good. Yeah.
He gets lucky every once in a while.
Yeah, well, that's like the one good team he has across 20 leagues.
Basically.
Nah, he's got a couple good ones. I mean, he's in tank rebuild mode in a lot of leagues, but he's got a couple good ones. In that league, though, he traded back. So not only does he have just a great starting squad, but he's got like 3 first-rounders next year, too. It's kind of scary. I can't sell my quarterbacks because nobody feels like they can compete with them.
In that league?
Yeah. I've got like 5 quarterbacks.
What quarterbacks are you trying to sell?
Any of them.
Don't tell me Jake Luton.
That's probably one of them.
Well, that's why you can't sell them.
Yeah, there's
That's fine. I'll keep all the Luton that I got, and he'll be the next Gardner Minshew, and I
need a quarterback in that league. Hit me up.
Is that the machine?
At FF Terminator.
Shut the fuck up. Is that the machine?
Yeah, that's the machine.
Dude, I got Breeze, Cousins, Rivers, Luton.
Yeah, I heard one quarterback there.
Oh, shit. So you know what my dumbass did this
Breeze.
weekend?
I mean, Breeze is the ultimate win now dynasty quarterback. If you need a quarterback,
Well, you know what I did was in the machine, I started Matthew Stafford, and I actually started Chase Daniels as well. I tried to get ahead of it and put Chase in my lineup because I thought Stafford would be out. I forgot to take Chase out. God damn it!
Next level.
That's why I lost right there.
That's next level right there.
It's a fucking wolf right there. Oops.
Woof.
Woofy.
Yeah, I don't want to get. I wanted to mention this earlier. The owners when they also approved. Did you see this? Did you see this resolution that they approved?
No.
Okay. The owners approved a resolution that will award NFL teams compensatory third-round picks if clubs lose minority coaches and or front office executives to head coaching and GM jobs elsewhere. This resolution is subject to approval of the Players Association, but it is potentially groundbreaking in that teams could gain third-round picks for their minority executives and coaches being hired elsewhere.
Oh, goddamn, man. Bill Belichick's going to be tossing everybody out on the friggin' waiver wire next year.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate on this a little bit. Do you think that would play in, that would factor into a decision not to hire someone?
I guess it would depend on the team that was looking at him. Like, if it was like the Jets, then I'm sure most people would just be like, sure, have them and you get your third round pick, whatever. But if there was anything contending,
does the pick come from the team acquiring the coach?
No, I don't. It's a compensatory pick, so it's like once the third round is over, it's just like an additional pick.
Yeah, then I don't think that really comes into play. I think that's just I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to increase minority coaching, which is great, and give a team a reason to go after a guy, and give that team a reason to say, yeah, okay,
let's give this guy a shot.
But it'd be a win-win for both squads involved. I see what they're trying to do. I kind of like it. It's sad that they have to do it. I mean,
I agree with that.
At this point, there should be
that's 100%
plenty of minority coaches, and there's not. So it's sad that they have to do all this, shuffle game, shell game to try and make it, desirable. But I appreciate what they're trying to do. I just think it's sad that they have to do it.
Speaking of minority coaches, see what I did there? That have been amazing. Brian Flores continues to impress the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I mentioned in the opening that the Dolphins are red hot, and he may have made the switch from Ryan Fitzpatrick to Tua Tagovailoa through Nash teeth, but he has embraced it. He's clearly the leader in that clubhouse. Like he clearly has that team's attention. He has a chance to be the most successful Bill Belichick disciple. And for the season, only 3 clubs own a better point differential than Miami. The Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers.
Wow.
Miami
That's impressive, man.
Miami is plus 61. They are averaging 27.8 points per game. That is the most since the 84 Marino-led Dolphins reached the Super Bowl.
Good for them.
I watched a lot of that game Sunday, and Tua has just he didn't have a fantastic game, but he has a confident swagger about him where you just feel like he's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, with a non-existent running game.
Yeah, absolutely. Non-existent running game.
Without Miles Sanders, I mean, Jordan Howard
Miles Gaskin.
Miles Gaskin. Jordan Howard had 10 touches, and Salvin Ahmed had 7. And I think that Tua ran it a couple times, and that was it. It was, just the defense, and like you said, his confidence in his abilities.
Did you guys see the throw to Mac Hollins that tied the game at 31? Yeah. It was the
Dime.
was the most unlikely connection by a Dolphins quarterback in the last 3 years, according to Pro Football Focus.
It was a dime. It was
an absolute
unbelievable.
dime. He looks really good. So this quarterback class has a chance to be something special, I think.
I agree.
Oh yeah. The top 3 guys are balling.
Yeah. And your boy balled Sunday. Jake Luton.
Yeah, man.
So
I've been calling him up from the taxi squad in a bunch of leagues, man. He's got a cannon. You know, it's interesting because in college he had a pretty low ADOT, except for Isaiah Hodgins was his top option the last 2 years. Hodgins had an amazing season with Luton throwing in the ball last year. But other than that, his ADOT was like 7 yards. But the talks have been the past week or so that he's been just uncorking it in camp, and we saw it when he lit up Chark.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all the Chark people that have been, you know, a little worried have something to be hopeful for, because that kid can uncork it.
So Chark was peppered with 12 targets in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw the very first play of the game. They're in 3 deep coverage. The safety never bothered to read the quarterback's shoulders. He guessed it was a complete blown coverage, and Chark went 73 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah. Another guy to watch out for on that offense, because Keelan Cole was a surprising wide receiver too, like through the first 5 weeks, but he didn't get hardly any looks at all. He was hitting up Chris Conley. Got 7 targets and I think caught 5 for 45 or 55. So Conley definitely got the looks, you know, in that game. Might have been coverage, you know, definitely small sample size, but something to look for moving forward if you need a desperation play.
So I have a theory
or a DFS play or something.
I have a theory about that, and you often see like a new quarterback come in and he'll throw a lot to one of these, you know, guys that really hadn't gotten a lot of burn.
Yeah.
I think it comes from those guys working together in practice.
Yeah, we've talked about it before.
He probably worked really close with Conley at practice, and he's comfortable with it.
Yeah, I think we talked about that this summer. That the guy gets called up and the practice squad guy gets the target. So yeah, something to look for, especially with Chenault has a concussion.
I thought it was a hamstring.
Oh, that you're right.
Okay,
You're right. It was a hammy. So he'll probably miss a game or 2.
Adam Kaplan said on the radio this morning, and apparently he has ends to the Chargers front office. To the Jaguars front office. He says that this coaching staff is trying to win games, and they're not married to Minshew by any means.
Nope.
And he expects Luton to start the rest of the season. Take that for what it's worth.
I think he probably will.
I didn't see a lot special about this kid Sunday, but again, it's his first start, and he went from 3rd string to here's the ball, son.
Yep.
That's hard to do. I mean, so you know.
Well, one thing I didn't like, and we mentioned it before the show started, and I tweeted about it. I mean, he's not very mobile in the pocket. He did get loose for that rushing touchdown, but for the most part, he was taking the snap and just standing there. That's not good. He needs to, you know, evade the pass rush a little bit more and get mobile. But the one thing I noticed was he wasn't staring down his first read. He looked like he was going through his progressions to me, which, I mean, in your first start, that's something I look for, because usually a guy will, you know, will just stare down and force it to the first read, and he was not doing that. So there were some things I didn't like. There were some things I liked, and the cannon, the arm is there for sure. The guy can throw it a country mile.
He's got a cannon for sure, and that's the one thing you heard about him before the game, is that he had a cannon, and he like uncorked it on the very first play.
Yep.
73-yard bomb. I had advised someone, with the rookie quarterback going in, it's his first start. I don't know how much you can trust Chark. I played Chark everywhere I had him, basically because who else would you play in the leagues that we play in, where you have all these flexes? You really don't have a better option. But in my league of record, where I had an option, I benched him, and the very first play, I was like,
Oops.
ready. Yeah, I was ready to jump off a bridge.
Oops.
So,
Sure, a lot of people did.
Yeah. Guy out there, I feel your pain.
12 targets. Moving forward, you don't have to worry about it. You can start him with confidence.
Yeah, he's going to go up against Jair Alexander this Sunday in Green Bay, almost certainly. So temper your expectations for this week. But after that, yeah, I mean,
good point.
Yeah. Chark is obviously an every week play. Young quarterbacks. I want to talk about this kid that we trashed, that we bagged on in Dallas, Garrett Gilbert. He added some juice to the passing game a little bit. He definitely added some CD Lamb juice, and I think even Amari Cooper scored. Did Amari Cooper not score Sunday?
No, I don't believe he did.
I believe it was called back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He did get in the end zone, and it was called back.
They almost beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I know.
Yeah.
Remember, I was going to give you those 10 points. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad you didn't hook up with me on that, because they beat the spread.
This was typical Pittsburgh Steelers football when they know they're playing a lesser opponent. This happens all the freaking time.
You said it last week.
I did. I said they could.
They will not show up for this game.
It's what they do. It's the one issue Tomlin has, is they overlook teams that they feel they can just walk right over every time.
But they also had Ben with two bad knees. So that was
Ben always has bad knees.
Yeah, but I mean he took a shot.
Yeah.
He took a shot to his knees. It was very apparent.
But I mean, he, like, even before he took the shot to the knees, their running game didn't look good. Their passing game was going not very far.
Yeah, it took a while for them to get going.
It wasn't until Ben started funneling Juju on a drive where they kind of got some juice and Juju scored that touchdown. He had like 4 or 5 receptions on that one drive alone. And that's what kind of changed it. Yeah, dude, I was watching. I mean, obviously I was watching that game like crazy, but I had a big game going against the number 2 guy in the league in my big money league. And I was hoping Juju would pull through, and he did.
So they're on a bye this week. Would you work this guy in practice and just set him up and say, all right, it's yours. Here's the ball.
Rest of the year?
Yeah, the rest of the year. Just see what you got in the kid. I mean, they're not going to the playoffs. I mean, what's the point in starting Andy Dalton?
That's kind of what I'm saying, dude. I mean, Andy Dalton looked like garbage. I mean,
you're right.
They might as well just let him go.
Zeke actually did not look terrible.
No,
he was more spry than I thought he might be, considering the injury and considering the defense that he was playing against. Pollard didn't look bad either. Hopefully Zeke can get healthy, and the offensive line can get healthy in this bye week, and they can find that running game. And obviously at this point you're going to start Zeke every week. I can't imagine you have a better option.
Right.
No.
Since we're talking about the Cowboys real quick, a couple things to note. The Cowboys rookie Trevon Diggs, who I loved in this draft, got a broken bone in his foot. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So a bad secondary just got worse. I mean, you can argue all day if it's the Seahawks or the Cowboys being the worst secondary, but so you were already starting guys against the Cowboys, but now it even got worse. And then the other thing of note was that Jera this week said that Mike McCarthy is the coach in 2021 and Dak Prescott is their quarterback in 2021.
Jera.
Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe Dak Prescott has something to say about that. Did he consult Dak Prescott?
Well, they could tag him.
Show me the money.
Sure, they can tag him, but
Remember
if I'm
we
Dak,
talked about that this summer. They can tag him
if I'm Dak Prescott and they tag me, this is what I say.
Exactly. That's exactly what I would say as well. After that injury he just took, dude, no way. He doesn't sign until the only way he's going to play for them is if he has a multi-year contract.
Yeah. There's no way I would step on that field if I was him without a contract. No way.
Nope.
Paulie, I know you got some sleepers. I want to throw one out of my own. This is a kid we've talked about before. This kid looked really, really good Sunday, and maybe if Calvin Ridley is forced to miss extended, they're obviously on a bye this week. But Olamide Zacchaeus got loose for a long touchdown. He looked really good, and he looked like he was playing ahead of Russell Gage Sunday.
Yeah. I tweeted out there, I think, after his week 4 blow up. Week 4, Ridley had a bad game. I don't know if you remember, he was injured and he played, but he really didn't do anything. And Julio didn't do anything that game. And Olamide had a big game. I said, Olamide is the new Russell Gage. You know, we while you were sleeping, that just happened. You know, it's just a potent passing offense, and it's a guy that you can plug and play. If Julio or Ridley are out, you can play the guy. He's a boom or bust guy, but the boom is definitely there. Yep. Matt Ryan still has an arm, man. If you saw that touchdown pass that he threw to him, he uncorked that from about 55 yards out, just on a dime. But yeah, that was actually the top guy on my list. Yeah, he had 17 PPR points in week 4, went 8 for 86 on 9 targets. And then against Denver, who their secondary is horrible too, played 74% of the snaps, went 4 for 103 and 1 on 6 targets. They have a bye this week, and then they get the Saints. So we know that the Saints middle can be exploited when
just not by Tampa.
Yeah, right. When you've got Lattimore probably chasing after Julio, Zach could ball in the middle of the field. So somebody you could probably pick up this week because they're on a bye and people probably won't be looking to pick him up.
You mentioned Denver. I don't know if you guys saw this. Melvin Gordon's court date got pushed back.
Yep.
No, I did not.
Just based on things that I'm reading, he's likely to receive a 3-game suspension at some point. But like we said, the NFL is unlikely to rule on that until the matter is adjudicated in court. So he's likely safe for this season. Just when you thought it was safe to drop Joshua Kelly and Mike Davis. I hope you didn't rush out there and do that because Christian McCaffrey and Justin Jackson both got hurt again Sunday. Joshua Kelly led the team in snaps, and we've seen what Mike Davis can do in that offense. Man, if you're the Panthers, what do you do with Christian McCaffrey for the rest of the year?
I think at some point you have to just realize that your star player is pretty banged up and you may just want to shelve him and just say that's it. So why risk him for nothing? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Think about the long-term play. That's just my opinion. If he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, you know, are they going to bring him back to play the last 2 games of the season? Risk him getting re-injured? I don't know.
I would tell the guy, we don't need you diving over people and getting – I mean, I know you're built to try and get those extra couple yards, but if you watch that game, he put his body at risk, jumping up, getting hammered in the middle of the air and spinning around, falling down, jumping over guys and landing on his shoulder on the sideline. I mean, I get it. It's football. You're supposed to get every single yard, but when you're nursing coming back from injury, it just think you could take it a little easy, man. I don't know if it's in his DNA, but
This is the same thing I said about George Kittle last week.
Yeah.
take it easy, right?
Yeah, it's
But
like,
those guys don't know. They don't know that language.
They only know one way.
This team too has so much respect for Mike Davis. If you watch him when he did get on the field, he was out there throwing some monster blocks on a couple of those runs that set like McCaffrey up and Samuel up and all that stuff. And, his teammates were all over him on the sideline. Just, you could just tell that they knew that McCaffrey was back. He was probably bummed he lost his gig, but he went out there, played his heart out, and hey.
In this week's segment of Matt Nagy is the worst coach in football, why the fuck did the Bears let Mike Davis go for nothing?
Oh, when you think about this too, if you look at when Mike Davis was playing for the Bears, he was just as bad as Montgomery is right now. He wasn't getting anywhere. Nothing. Bro,
if you remember, let's go back 1 year ago on the calendar.
Yeah.
To the Bears' very first game of the season. And we all thought Montgomery was going to run out there with the job. And who was it? It was Mike Davis.
Yeah.
And he went out there and he rushed for, I can't remember what it seems like. It was for 100 yards and he looked really good. And everybody was like, oh man, Mike Davis is going to be the guy. And then he never got the ball again.
No. And then when he did touch the ball, he was, hold on. I'm just, while you're kind of going, I'm just looking back on that really quick. 2019.
Do you remember this, Paulie?
Absolutely.
So,
Paulie, we've reached the point of the program where Paulie's just kind of like, yeah, whatever you guys say.
No, I remember.
So his career his rushing high for that season with the Bears was 19 yards. He had 6 receptions his first game for 17 yards.
I think you just don't know when these guys are good or bad when they're on bad teams. I mean, we talked about it before. Look at all the great players that came out of Miami that didn't look like anything. I mean, Tannehill looked like he should probably retire.
Look at the systems that these guys are in as well. When Mike Davis was with Seattle, he was producing as a running back. Like he was a good fancy asset in Seattle when he was getting the work.
Yeah, it's a good team.
And Seattle's a good football team. They have a good running scheme. He goes to Chicago, dumpster, gets let go, goes to Carolina, gets an opportunity in an offense that utilizes the running back in multiple ways, and he's successful again.
So what's Justin Jackson's injury?
Knee. They're saying he should be fine.
Oh.
If it's not, I wouldn't worry about Joshua Kelly. Tremaine Pope might be the guy because he's going to be back too because he was out with a concussion.
Yeah, Pope looked good a couple weeks ago. I mentioned
it will not be Kalen Ballage. He's already back on the practice squad.
That's correct.
Kalen Ballage revenge game this week.
That's correct.
Yeah, they pull him up for the Dolphins. Get him.
I want to go back to the Broncos real quick. Jerry Jeudy's open on every play.
Oh, dude, his route running is ridiculous.
Jerry Jeudy he's a beast.
Yeah, he's gonna be fantastic.
Did you see my tweet? Have you seen like the Hindu thing where the gal comes out with the arms and there's all the people behind her?
Yes, I did see that.
Out with the 1,000 arms all the way around there. And my tweet was Jerry Jeudy trying to show Drew Lock that he's open. He finally got fed. He got 14 targets, 7 catches for 125 and 1. This guy's good. I mean, everybody's been talking about T. Higgins lately. And I would say that since T. Higgins is almost untouchable right now, I would say see if you could buy some Jeudy.
I've quietly acquired a couple of shares of Jeudy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's really good. And just a heads up, he's going to start drawing more and more attention. So go pick up Tim Patrick because he's also going to be a thing.
Yes, he is.
He scored a touchdown Sunday. He's just getting back from injury, and
I think he's been double digits like every game he's played in the last 5 games.
Yeah, he's
double digit fantasy points.
He's a pretty good player. if Cortland Sutton was healthy, would he be a thing? Probably not. But for the rest of this season, I don't know much about his long-term prospects. For the rest of the season, he should be an asset for you.
Well, Drew Lock is not that good, but the pass catchers are in a
That's
great,
one way to say it, Bob.
the pass catchers are in a great situation for fantasy because that team gets behind early. So they're never going to be salting away a game in the fourth quarter. They're going to be throwing. So start your Denver pass catchers. Just don't check the stats till like midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Speaking of fourth quarters, I want to go back to the Chargers because I almost feel bad for I do kind of feel bad for this team. The Chargers have lost 15 one-possession games the last 2 seasons.
That's a woof.
They lost another one Sunday when I don't know why this touchdown didn't count. I don't know if you guys saw this. Herbert threw Donald Parham a touchdown with 1 second left on the clock. It absolutely was called a touchdown. It looked like a touchdown. It felt like a touchdown, and I'm sure it smelled like a touchdown. But upon replay, it was called not a touchdown.
I don't know how either because he was on his back. So the ball wasn't between his body and the turf. The ball was on top of him, and his back was on the turf.
It was on top of him.
I remember the play. It was a catch.
2 feet and a knee in bounds before he fell out of bounds, and then it was called not a touchdown.
Yep. And fingers, he even whipped his dick out and put it in bounds. Like the guy caught the ball is what we're saying. Yeah, that's bad, man. That's really sad. Really, really sad that they have lost that many close games.
I feel bad for Justin Herbert. Obviously he looks great, but they're not winning. I feel they're going to have a new head coach next year probably.
I would hope so.
Which means he's going to have to learn another system. And he broke Cam Newton's record for most pass yards in a rookie's first 7 starts. He looks phenomenal. We say it every week, but I keep expecting him to like have that down game, but so far it's not coming. So
he's the Terry McLaurin of quarterbacks. He doesn't have a down week.
I love that.
I do too.
I love
that. I have to bring him up because somebody on my timeline said that they would listen. They subscribe to the pod because I told him that we talk about that kid all the time, and he's one of his biggest fans. And I know we're just getting off on a tangent, but this is unscripted. But
that's what we do, baby.
That's what we do. The kid
McScorin. Let's go.
He showed me that Terry McLaurin is actually a local Indianapolis boy. He went to Cathedral High School here in Indianapolis. How did I not know that?
How did you not know that?
If there was another, you wouldn't think there'd be another reason for me to love him more, but to know that he went to Cathedral, which was actually a big rival to the school I went to, North Central High School in Indianapolis, is pretty damn cool. And God, no matter who's throwing him the ball, man, he had Ray Bradbury checking him again, and
had him on skates
and blew him up, man. Arguably the worst quarterbacks in the league the last 2 years have been throwing him the ball. Imagine if he ever got a quarterback.
He's like a talented Allen Robinson.
And what's funny is they're going to draft like a really high profile guy, and everybody's going to go, "Oh yeah, don't that hurts McLaurin," and we're going to be able to get more on our teams. I can't wait.
Most receiving yards among second-year wide receivers: DK Metcalf 680, Terry McScorin 577.
Boom.
Oh.
You want to know who's 4th on this list, Paulie?
Probably Michael Gallup.
Nah, baby. Second-year wide receivers. This is his 3rd year.
Oh, okay.
It's your boy. You got to know when to hold.
Oh, Fulgham?
Know when to Fulgham.
That's amazing. Yeah, man, they got a great matchup this week too.
They get the New York Football Giants.
Roll your Roll your Fulgham out there.
Yep. Roll that beautiful Fulgham footage.
Roll that beautiful Fulgham footage.
Travis Fulgham is also the highest graded second-year wide receiver. Terry McLaurin is fourth on the list. The list is Fulgham, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Terry McLaurin.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
This kid just came out of nowhere. The Lions and the Packers said thanks, but no thanks to this kid from Old Dominion.
Yeah, both teams that could use a wide receiver right now, too, if I don't mind saying.
Yep. It's nuts. So we touched on Zacchaeus, who was first on your sleeper list, Paulie. Who else was on your list?
This is a deeper one, but everybody thought that everybody thought that Steven Sims would be the guy, and he got activated off of IR this week, and most of the sites had him projected for, double-digit fantasy points to be the number 2 there, and he's an electric guy that flashed last year. That was on a lot of sleeper lists over the summer, was Steven Sims. There's another Sims on the team, and they said, yeah, we like this other guy better. So Cam Sims played 89% of the snaps against Dallas, and he played 75% of the snaps to Steven Sims, 29%, caught 3 of 4 for 110 yards. You guys know the Fantasy Scout 24/7. He scouts for the Redskins. We've got a little inside track there. I've gotten some good Redskins knowledge on him from him this year. And he said, yeah, he's the number 2. So for Dynasty Leagues, he's out there. I hate even saying this because between the two of you, you're in over half of my leagues. And I'm going to be putting him in on waivers tonight. So for the listeners, I'm sacrificing my own teams to tell you should get Cam Sims on waivers because he probably won't get picked up in your leagues.
No, don't worry. I don't have any fab left.
I just think that there can be room for a relevant number 2 there with McScorin getting the top coverage. And old man.
Now, can I ask you this?
Up.
Can I ask you this real quick? And you got Steven Sims coming back off of an injury, playing the first game. Was Cam Sims just a product of opportunity in terms of he was one of the last guys standing, and they just let Steve Sims kind of get his legs back underneath him here, and then they give him more opportunity next week? Or are you seeing a similar?
No, that's why I asked 24/7. I DM'd him and I said, "Is this just a fill in for now, or is this guy legit? Is he the number 2?" And he said, "No, they love him. He's the number 2 there."
Interesting.
It doesn't mean Steve Sims doesn't have value because he plays kind of a different type of role where he's going to be the short, intermediate, Debo, LaVisca kind of guy, short, intermediate routes, jet sweeps, things like that, uses speed. So they do different things anyway. So there's room for them both to be out there. But Sims is the number 2. Cam Sims. Cam.
It just seems like the Cosmos had it that Alex Smith was going to get back on the NFL football field this year.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, you do.
And you gotta love it. And he threw a couple picks, but he also threw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
And you know who else has looked really good on that team as well? J.D. McKissick. He's been putting up some numbers, baby. I mean,
14 targets last week.
I was just going to say he had 14 targets.
Yeah.
Can you give my boy Antonio Gibson like 5 of those targets, please?
Gibson had the touchdown, but man, I mean, McKissick's all over the field right now. I mean, the last few weeks, man, he's been double-digit fantasy points right throughout. So
use this as a go get Gibson, go trade for him. In lieu of, because McKissick is not his long-term value is not anything special.
No, he's 27 years old. He was a guy that they brought on off the streets, and well, not off the streets, but they picked him up off the off the waivers. I mean, he's a good receiving back. He's playing great football right now in that part of the game, but he's only seeing 3 carries this past week, 5 carries a week before. He's had his 8 in the game. It's all in the targets, man. He's seeing 8.
He reminds me of Theo Riddick.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. He's like their version of Theo Riddick.
Yeah.
And obviously Washington likes to use their running backs in the passing game. So, hey, it's a good long-term for Antonio Gibson.
Another deep dive, possibly for one of these, leagues that you're in or we're in, that you start a couple tight ends and that's been hurting. Jacob Hollister outsnapped Greg Olson and Will Dissly this week and had himself a game. 6 catches for 50 yards. So that's somebody, the tight end. I don't know about you guys. The tight end's been rough for me with all the Kittle and Jonnu hasn't been doing anything. And, just all the injuries and everything. So deep dive. Hollister's been a thing in the past. So I'm not saying to invest, a ton on him, but if you need a tight end and you got a spot, you don't have to spend any money on fab on him. Just go pick him up. And talking dynasty or maybe a 16 or 20 man league in redraft or something.
Yeah, we saw him get in the game and last year down the stretch when Dissly was hurt and they needed someone to step up. It was Hollister who was tackled on the 1 yard line to preserve the 49ers victory in Seattle last year that gave them the number 1 seed.
Yep.
I didn't remember that.
Kid out of Wyoming. He was all Mountain West. Interestingly enough, he didn't catch a lot of passes while he was at Wyoming. So
we mentioned the Dolphins' lack of running game. Your boy that was on the 49ers briefly, Ahmed, I think looked way better than Jordan Howard. So I don't know how much time Gaskin has to miss or how much they're going to run the ball. But
it's at least 2 more weeks because he was put on IR, right?
Yeah.
For Gaskin. Yeah.
Yeah. Still another free ad. I mean, I've got leagues where you got to start 3 running backs, and I was starting, Patrick Laird last week because I was just, hoping to God he was going to do something. That's another guy to add. And then somebody a little bit more on the surface, DJ got a concussion. And the other DJ goes against the Browns, who have given up 327 yards on the ground in the last 3 weeks.
Revenge game.
Yeah. So Duke Johnson is a play this week. I think
Duke Johnson finished as the number 7 running back, which was higher than David Johnson has finished all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had like 4 or 5 targets too. Darnell Mooney looked good again and is outplaying Anthony Miller. So I think I mentioned that guy just about every week. I mean, I don't think he's hit his ceiling yet at all. Gabriel Davis had a day. That's another sleeper of mine that we've been talking about. He had a big day, caught a touchdown. And then the one other guy I was going to mention, who we said that you should probably drop, that, I mean, I wouldn't go out and pick him up this week. I'd just kind of keep an eye on him. The Colts need somebody really bad. If Paris Campbell can get out on the field this year, Rivers needs that security blanket. He needs that safety valve. He needs that little short intermediate route guy with speed. So I haven't heard much news on him. The last thing the Colts said was that they're not ruling him out for the year. They didn't put him on season-ending IR. So wouldn't run out and pick him up right away, but maybe next week catch the news and see what the team is saying, or tune in to Unscripted again. We might be picking this guy up again.
I think the Colts are moving into the territory where the Patriots were earlier for me, and I don't want any of them. They have a damn tight end committee, for Christ's sakes.
Jack Doyle's going to be out this week, so the committee's going to be a little lighter, and Mo Alley Cox is questionable. So if Mo Alley can't go, we already know Doyle isn't going. Trey Burton's going to be a play this week.
He might get 20 targets.
He might get 20 targets. And he gets red zone like rushing work. He has 2 red zone rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor owners know all about that.
So Tommy was talking about Jonathan Taylor and how the line's not blocking for him. You said that you looked at that. Beezy, also, you said that you looked at that too. I see red, so I don't think I can evaluate it anymore because I just see red. What's going on, man? Are they not blocking for him?
No, I said it last week, and I told everyone I own 0 shares of this guy. It's not because I wasn't as high on him as everyone else. I'm not going to pretend that. It's just because I didn't have the picks to draft him anywhere. So I'm not making excuses for him. But like I said last week, perfect example. Wilkins, Jonathan Taylor gets a goal line touch and he runs into a stone wall. Nobody blocks, nobody opens any holes. There's nowhere for him to go. And then the very next play, Wilkins, backflips into the end zone and moonwalks to a 2-point conversion. And you see it time and time again that there's just no holes there for him. I think this is a line that is largely living off of reputation when it comes to run blocking. They're a much better pass blocking offensive line. Don't want to make excuses for the guy, but it's just what I see. Yep. And for Tommy to follow it up and say that he also saw that made me feel good because Tommy's really good breaking down film.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Beezy?
I would agree. Yeah, absolutely. I think to his vision, how he's reading the plays and how he's looking at them. There's a couple times where he would, take a handoff, he'd go to shoot, into the middle or shoot over to the left in between the guard and the tackle. And it was jammed up. And instead of cutting and trying to get outside where there was more room to run, he just put his head down and just tried to run through 3 guys. And
that's what I see.
And that's kind of where I'm like looking at it going, okay, his vision isn't, he's not reading things correctly. He's not adjusting quick enough. We know he can do it. He was doing it in college.
So both of these things are true. They're not opening up the holes in the middle. He's not recognizing that and bouncing it to holes that are on the outside.
I'll tell you another thing I see, and you can go back and look at his Wisconsin tape. When the holes weren't there at Wisconsin, he come through there and he was running over some fools. You can't do that in the NFL.
No.
It's a big difference with them linebackers.
You can't do that in the NFL.
No, and I jinxed him because last week I said it's funny. The knock on him was fumbling.
Yeah, and then he fumbles.
And he hasn't fumbled.
And gets Rivers put on a forever wolf poster. That was the play, right? He fumbles. They pick it up.
That was the play.
Rivers gets trampled.
Durka.
I got a wolf. It has nothing to do with football.
Give me wolf.
Premature Christmas celebrators.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Fuck them.
Sleeper has already gone from Thanksgiving to Christmas on their damn app.
I know. I saw
that.
Have
you seen this?
I do. I'm looking at it right now.
November 11th.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Poor Thanksgiving, man. Poor Thanksgiving. Everybody wants to just gloss right over Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So all you people out there who have your tree up already, who are singing Christmas carols, woof.
Yeah. Woof. You're an asshole.
You might call
you're an asshole. Yes.
Call me okay boomer. But the day after Thanksgiving is when I put my Christmas decorations up. Damn it!
I'm not a boomer.
No,
so you can't call me that.
I didn't say you. I said me.
No. I know. You said you. I'm just saying, don't call me boomer because I'm not a boomer. And I agree with you. It should be the day after Thanksgiving. So
because Thanksgiving's got to have its due, man.
It's got to have its time.
It's I'm
still trying to recuperate from Thanksgiving on Friday. I'm not putting up any damn Christmas shit until Saturday, man.
I don't know if you guys. So they're like Dollar Generals on the moon. Do they have Dollar Generals where you guys live?
All over the place, man.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I go there once a month. I get my paper plates, my paper towels.
Yeah, okay.
Dude. Good
My
stuff.
laundry detergent. I get a bunch of shit there.
There you go. I stopped at a Dollar General on the way home today, and they had discount Halloween candy and Christmas candy all on the same fucking sale rack. It's like, come on, guys. What the fuck are we doing? Halloween was just Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Terrible.
This is not like us. We don't usually rant on off football topic things. So pay attention, people.
Yeah.
This is important. This is important.
Life lessons here.
Serious.
Yeah, life lessons. Yes, life lessons.
Let Thanksgiving cook.
Yeah.
Let it have its day, damn it.
Like let Dalvin cook and let Russell Wilson cook.
And let Thanksgiving cook.
On Thanksgiving, you get it? Let Thanksgiving cook. Hashtag let Thanksgiving cook, baby.
Waka.
Speaking of Dalvin Cook, you wanted to talk about Dalvin Cook, Beezy.
Well, yeah, I just gonna go through it. Honestly, dude, I just wanted to say, like, right now, if you got Dalvin Cook, you have a very good shot of him being like, he is absolutely playing out of control right now. His consistency, he scored a touchdown in every single game this year. He's got 3 games with 2 touchdowns, 1 game with 3 touchdowns.
Jesus.
4 of his last 5 games have been over 100 yards rushing.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think he just scored against the Packers again.
Oof.
Basically, yes, dude. And, you know, when you're looking at this and people are saying, okay, Dalvin Cook, you know, is this just going to be his little flash in the pan? Are we going to go back? This is real. I mean, Minnesota's line ranks 4th in adjusted line yards. You know, Kirk Cousins threw 34 attempts in the last 2 weeks. In 2 games, 34 attempts. They are feeding Cook the ball, and that's it. It's going through the run game.
So to your point, I would offer this. There isn't a team out there, and don't at me motherfuckers with Christian McCaffrey, okay, because his ass is hurt. There isn't a team out there who makes one person a bigger part of the offense than the Vikings do Dalvin Cook.
100%.
Their entire offense
yes,
is built around Dalvin Cook, and it
starts
with the running game, and it extends to the passing game. And that is why Alexander Mattison is not an immediate plug and play when Dalvin Cook is out.
Agreed.
Because he does things in the passing game that very few running backs in this league can do.
Amen.
I mean, he's not on par with Dalvin Cook at all, but he is absolutely a plug and play if Dalvin Cook is out.
Yeah, you play him. You don't expect Dalvin Cook numbers. That's why he put up 4 points the other week when he got in the fucking
every time he's played after Dalvin Cook's gone down, he hasn't done squat.
20 for 112 against Seattle, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I ran for 100 yards against Seattle before this podcast today.
I'm just saying, if you're this year, so I had a big game this week in my big money league, and CMC came back, and the kid that I'm playing against was all excited because he's like, I got CMC, you're screwed, and Dalvin outscored him, and it wasn't even close. He outscored in my league. He outscored McCaffrey, and he outscored Derrick Henry together. I mean, wild.
Paulie, my point was not that you don't want Alexander Mattison and you don't want to handcuff him. It was that these guys who were saying that it's the system, and
I never.
Alexander Mattison is, you know, can be just as good as Dalvin Cook. That's just not true.
I never agreed with that. No way. No way. Can I talk about DFS real quick? Because I never do.
You can talk about whatever you want, baby.
Well, I had a really good Denver stack last week that won me some money, and my Chief stack won me some money too. But I just wanted to mention that I think the Denver stack is in play again this week. Drew Lock 5,500. They play at Vegas. Their secondary is in the bottom third. They could be attacked on the outside. I think they're 22 DVOA. So stacking lock with Jerry Judy's only 5,600. You could throw in Tim Patrick there for like 4,200. I think is a great stack this week. I built a lineup with Locke, Duke Johnson, Mike Davis is the bare minimum this week because DraftKings thought CMC was going to be back and they had already done the pricing. So Mike Davis is $4,000 this week.
Do you think you can throw Darren Waller in that stack also from the other
absolutely. Side? Yeah, absolutely. He's in that stack. And then I've also got T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, and Devontae Adams in that stack. Since it's a cheap running back stack and a cheap quarterback and wide receiver stack, you can get the more expensive guys in there. So just throwing that out there early in the week, it's looking like it's going to be a nice one.
Do you think that this is the way it's going right now, that you have to have Dalvin Cook and Keenan Allen
and Devontae Adams
and Devontae Adams every week and just sort of filter guys in around those three?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean at least two of them. Yeah, you really do. I've been cleaning up with Herbert to Allen too. But yeah, you're right. The Vikings aren't on the main slate this week, so we don't have to worry about them. I think the one guy you really got to get in your lineup is Devontae Adams. Going against Jacksonville, Jesus, he's gonna get 20 targets again.
Yep.
I mean, this dude, 12 targets, 11 targets, 16 targets, 10 targets, 17 targets. That's his season.
Monster.
Double digit targets every single week.
Monster, dude.
I
he
think
scored
probably get
8
more
touchdowns in his last 4 games.
That's awesome.
I think he'd probably get more targets if they weren't boat racing everybody.
Yeah.
If it was an actual game.
Yeah.
Like they killed the 49ers in the first 2 quarters.
Hopefully Luton can put up some points and keep them going.
All right. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
Just from a dynasty, if you can get yourself out there, you might want to pick up a DeAndre Swift. Starting to emerge a little bit, starting to see a little bit more of the workload. 13 for 64 this week, 3 catches for 33 yards. He saw 13 of 27 rushing attempts. 2 of them went over for 15 yards. This kid's getting he's getting some consistent targets in the passing game. He's got 4 games with over 5 targets, 3 games with over 4 targets. So he's getting involved in both assets of the game. He's averaging 6.1 yards per attempt. He hasn't fumbled, 5 forced missed tackles, and he's getting 2.19 yards after contact.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you think Matt Patricia is going to be there next year?
No.
So Matt Patricia is going to be gone, and Adrian Peterson's going to be gone.
Yes.
Does that make DeAndre Swift like one of the biggest dynasty buys you could possibly think of right now?
Yes, it freaking does. That's kind of why I'm dropping this now. And also, to PFF, per PFF, Detroit has one of the top run blocking units in the league. So they've got a good base.
I'll get you guys again out there listening. Stop.
Yeah.
Rewind the tape. Listen again. This is why you listen. Exactly what Paulie and BZ just said. Matt Patricia's going to be gone. Adrian Peterson's going to be gone. And Swift is already emerging. So go get him now.
This is going to be the cheapest you're going to get him.
Go get him now.
A couple other guys I'd throw in offers out for Christian Kirk and Curtis Samuel.
I own all the Kirk.
I just traded you an offer of Kirk.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel too. Even with McCaffrey back, he was doing the rushing, doing the jet sweeps, had himself another day, much to the chagrin of DJ Moore.
I'm glad we went
shareholders.
I'm glad we went here. We talked about this in our chat about DJ Moore in our chat. I haven't had a chance. I want to go back and I want to look at some tape of DJ Moore this season because I traded away all the shares I had of DJ Moore this offseason because it just seemed like his value was just too good not to cash in on. Are you guys worried about DJ Moore, or are you still in? Or are you still you going after him in dynasty leagues?
Well, I think if you're going to go after him, now's the time to do it. I mean, if you believe in the talent, you believe, he was one of the best wide receivers out of that class, and this is a time you go get him. The offense it's producing fantasy assets. I mean, you've got Robbie, who was a top wide receiver. You've got Curtis Samuel now emerging. So it's just that Teddy and DJ aren't on the same page. It looks like. I mean,
he's not getting targeted. He's getting open.
He's that's what I was just saying. He's open a lot.
He's getting open.
Teddy is not looking anywhere near him.
Yeah, so he's getting open. I'd throw some offers out there for him. The guy is good, and he's not going to continue to be an afterthought. He's way too good for that.
Exactly where I was going.
Interesting. I want to do some study on him. Obviously, I value your guys' opinion highly, so I may throw down some offers for him.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
You could do a great recycle job. I'm sure you sold really high.
I did,
and now you could buy really low and probably do it again. Somebody had a really, really interesting stat. Curtis Samuel's first 8 games are almost identical to his first 8 games last year.
Okay.
Almost identical in stats across the board. So he's a late bloomer. He's a second half guy. That's what we want for Dynasty. Let me just look here really quick at 2019.
He's a
yeah, I mean, he had 1 touchdown in the first 8 games.
He's
38 yards, 44 yards, 52 yards, 73 yards. Had a couple, 90-yard games. But then week 9, 10 targets, 101 yards, 11 targets, 120 yards, 15 targets, 95 yards, 9 targets, 126 yards, 12 targets, 113 yards. He finished the season on fire. He's been getting open. Yeah, I think he's a buy too.
He's what I like to call a fantasy Santa.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson used to be a fantasy Santa until he stole DJ Moore's lunch this year.
Well, he might be the opposite. If you've noticed, he's kind of fallen off a little bit.
He is starting to fall off a little bit.
Which is the exact opposite of what he usually does. But maybe he's just good for half a year. You just got to figure out which half.
Beezy, your boy Denzel Mims looked good the other night.
Yes, he did, my man. I was actually going to bring him up at some point too, but
that kid's the real deal.
Yeah, he's fantastic route runner. He's got some wheels on him. So
also on a team that's going to be throwing in the fourth quarter.
Also on a team that's going to have a different head coach next year.
Bingo.
Also on a team that's going to have a different. Well, one would think.
And they also could have a new quarterback, depending on where they finish the year. If they believe in Sam Darnold, then he'll stick. But
I'm a Sam Darnold fan.
I am too.
I don't think he's caught anything close to a fair shake where he's at.
I don't starting to sour on him. He misses a lot of games, man.
He does miss. He is starting to miss a lot of games.
He's starting to become.
And maybe it's I've got a Adam Gase in my elbow, or a fucking Adam Gase in my pain in my ass. Maybe, I don't know. Gase sucks. I mean, how the hell did they manage to lose that game last night?
Gase sucks.
They were kicking the hell out of the Patriots the whole game. Flacco looked elite.
He did. He really did.
He was dropping dimes to Breshad Perriman.
Yep.
And that Jamison Crowder catch.
Crowder.
Oh my Lord. I'd like to see you bring up like the probability of I'd like to see the probability of that being a catch.
I'll have to look that up. Crowder is so good when he's healthy. He also misses a lot.
You could tell that he was banged up because that was pretty much his only contribution to the game last night. Breshad Perriman looked good. Denzel Mims looked good. Chris Herndon looked like Ryan Griffin's backup.
Who?
Yeah.
He's the tight end too.
Yeah, if there's a tight end 2 in the forest and it falls and there's no one around to watch it suck, does it still catch a pass or how does that go?
Wild.
Yeah, he's terrible. They've got to fire him, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They seem like they really like the guy. Although, isn't that office known for not doing mid-season firings? I think that front office is pretty much known for not doing the mid-season firings.
If I was the general manager of the Jets, I wouldn't fire him either until the season was over. I want you to be 0-16. I want that on your resume. Go ahead and take that with you and get on out of the building.
Absolutely.
Thanks for Trevor Lawrence. We'll catch you on the flip side.
I'd be checking my Major League Baseball eligibility if I was Trevor Lawrence right now.
I'd be looking for some more eligibility somewhere if I was going to be drafted by the Jets.
I'd rather play for the Mets.
I think from now, you know what? I think we should call the Jets the Plains.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, they're not even Jets.
They're not even Jets, dude. They're terrible.
All right, boys-os.
Anything
else?
Feel good. Feel good.
Feel good. We had some laughs, some energy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, good episode. Thanks for listening, folks. Episode 21.
Episode 20. We can drink now.
Yep.
We can drink. I'm gonna go have one or three. And remember that the best fantasy discussions are
Unscripted.
unscripted.